Hey everybody, Justin Sardi here. Welcome to session number 2 of the Advanced Group Coaching. Now in this session, we are going to be talking about AdWords for video for local businesses. Now, just because I say local businesses doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be local in your area, right? I have remote clients that I work with. Some of them are in California. We meet over Skype, get things done. It works just the same. I just call it local because a lot of people refer to, marketing for other people as local marketing, if you will, right? So I'm going to be talking all about managing clients and beyond. So let's go ahead and dive in. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of background on this AdWords for video platform and some selling points that you can use to help you land clients. And then we're going to talk about pricing the service, because this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And it's honestly one of the things that I struggled with the most when I first started. I took on a client and I didn't know how to price this service, but I really wanted to land the client. So, I'll get into that story in a little bit here, but really wanted to land the client and ended up shooting myself in the foot and, working for pennies essentially, which was not cool. And it's something that something that I don't want to happen to you guys. So I really want to, talk about that, because I want to make sure that you're in the best position possible and you're making the most money you can when you're managing these types of clients. Then I have an advertising agreement that I'm going to be pulling up and sharing, and I will be giving everybody that document. And I just realized that I totally forgot to send out the video ad swipe file to everybody as well. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to make a really quick note here that I need to send out the swipe file with the advertising agreement when this replay goes out. So bear with me for 2 seconds here. Cool. Just had to make a quick note because I do not want to forget that. Yeah, the ad agreement's really cool. It's something that will both protect you and make the client think that it makes you look more professional as well. And just so everybody knows, I am not an attorney. I take no liability for this advertising agreement. It works. This is the one I used to use. I still use it actually when I do take on clients. But just so you know, it's the one I use. But I'm just giving it to you all as a bonus for whatever educational or entertainment purposes only, right? I have to say something like that to kind of protect myself there, because it is my agreement. It works for me, but you might need to modify it for yourself. So I just want to mention that real quick. All right. Then we're going to get into scripting these video ads for clients and talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to dive into AdWords for video, and we're going to talk about setting up the ad for your clients, right? How do you do this? Local targeting. How do you do that if it's a local business, right? So we'll kind of talk about all of that. And then we will talk about reporting back to the business. What are the key analytics that they want to see? What report should you send back to them to make you look like a rock star, right? So we'll kind of talk about all that as well. So let's talk a little bit about the YouTube history, right? And these are all selling points as well. So kind of keep that in mind. That's why I'm covering this. It just kind of helps put you in the right frame of mind to sell this as a service, right? So YouTube was founded in 2005. That's just 11 years ago, right? It was purchased by Google 1 year after it was founded for $1.65 billion. That is that's like an unfathomable amount of money to me. Billions of dollars. That's crazy. But I mean, that is how valuable this platform is, right? And that was back in 2006. They bought that 10 years ago for $1.65 billion. That was before it was nearly as big as it is today. It's worth much more today. And I would say that Google made a very smart purchase there. Now, in August of 2007, the very first video ad on YouTube was showed. Now, this is a lot different than the first paid advertisement was shown. Sorry, it wasn't a video ad. This is way different than what we're talking about today. But basically, 1 year after they purchased it, they introduced the first of the ads. Now, a lot of things have happened since then, and they've actually updated the ad platform a number of times, integrated it with AdWords, and have made it much easier for people to get started running these types of ads. Now, by 2010, YouTube was ranked as the third most viewed website on the internet. And as of right now, it is the second largest search engine behind Google. So there is a massive amount of search traffic. And a lot of that search traffic has to do with how do I solve this problem, or where do I get this, or product reviews, or anything like that. People are going to YouTube as a source of information. And that allows you to position yourself or your client as the expert in whatever that, niche or question or whatever it may be. It allows you to position yourself or your client as the expert in front of people who need what they have to offer. Now, on March 21st, 2013, YouTube reached 1 billion unique visitors every month. That is a ton of people, right? And that is unique visitors. So you can literally reach just about anybody, anywhere in the world using YouTube. Now, let's talk a little bit about some selling points. Obviously, those were some selling points right there, but a couple selling points for when you're selling this to local businesses, right? So according to Nielsen, YouTube reaches more US adults aged 18 to 34 than any cable network. Now, the reason this is such a key selling point, and I've used this one a number of times, the reason this is such a key selling point is because think about it. Up until very recently, television ads were the way to reach your audience, right? Or like the cool way to advertise, if you will. People would, or businesses would make little commercials, put them on, have them run in their local area and basically get exposure. Well, with YouTube, you can reach more adults in the US in the age you want to reach them than any cable network can, right? I heard a statistic yesterday, or I've heard it a few times basically, that basically YouTube has more traffic every single day than the whole Super Bowl does, right? So, you know how much those television ads on the Super Bowl cost? They cost millions and millions of dollars, right? And it's like a really big deal. Well, YouTube can actually reach more people than the Super Bowl can on a daily basis, which is crazy. Now, there are over 6 billion hours of video that are watched every single month on YouTube, which is almost an hour for every person on Earth. And basically, I think the average American, from the last that I heard, watches about 2 YouTube videos per day, which averages about like 10 minutes per day spent on YouTube, which is crazy, right? We can reach them using these types of ads. Now, there are more than 1 billion unique visitors to YouTube every month, like we just talked about, and 72% of in-stream online video ads are watched to their completion, which is also another really big selling point. We're talking not just a lot of views, we're talking engaged views, right? And the cool thing about all of this is that, you don't pay, or your client doesn't pay unless their ideal viewer actually watches the video, right? So kind of what we had talked about previously about how they're all true view ads. Well, that still rings true with these, right? For your clients, that's a huge selling point as well. I probably should have put that on here, but don't ever forget to mention that, like, hey, look, you don't pay for impressions, but you do get all the branding from your impressions, but you only pay if somebody actually watches your video or engages with it. That's probably one of the best selling points out there. And I apologize for not having that up on the screen right now. Now, I want to talk a little bit about managing multiple accounts, because that's something that a lot of people have asked, time and time again. How do I go about managing these accounts, and what should I do? Do I put my credit card in there and then charge them later? Which I'm going to say absolutely not. Don't do that. But basically, how do I set up these accounts so that they're easy to manage, and I protect my client, and I also protect myself and my AdWords account, because I don't run client ads through my account, because what if they don't have a compliant landing page and then I get flagged for that and I lose my account? Then I lose part of my business. So that's not happening. I make them all set up their own accounts, or well, I set them up for them. But here's basically how we do that. So there's a thing called the My Client Center, and I'll pull that up in a little bit. But the My Client Center is a way for you to manage multiple AdWords accounts from one easy to navigate dashboard. And basically what it is, it's like AdWords, but it'll just list all the different accounts. So it might be like client A, B, C, D, E, F, G, however many clients you have. They can all be in one dashboard, but all the accounts are separate, right? And I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit here. Obviously can't pull mine up because I have client data in there and I can't be sharing all that, but I'll find a screenshot of it and we'll talk about that. So that's the My Client Center, right? And like I said, you can manage multiple accounts from one AdWords dashboard, and they got a cool little drop-down menu at the top that allows you to easily switch between different accounts. So each account stays in there, but is owned by the business, right? Now, even if you set it up, I still like to, that's the business's account. I don't want to keep it. A lot of people ask, well, how do I make sure that they keep paying me once I get these ads set up? Well, you make sure they keep paying you by letting them know that, hey, these ads are only going to work for, they have a lifespan, right? It's like a Facebook ad. You can't just run the same ad to one group of people forever, right? They're going to see it and they're going to be like, I keep seeing this, right? It's the same reason that television advertisers change up their ads so that people don't get bored with them. So they're going to need new ads set up each and every month, ideally, right? And that's what I usually recommend for the clients is, hey, once a month, we're going to assess what's going on, make the necessary changes, and probably even add some different campaigns in there. And that's how you make sure that they keep paying you, right? But each account is in your My Client Center, but it's owned by the business. Now, I do want to point out that when you set up the billing, you should use their credit card and not your credit card. And there's a very specific reason for that, and that's because one time I got burned. Right. And I've seen it happen to a number of my students as well. So I really need to point this out because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just set it up with my credit card and then I will bill the client. Well, what if they don't pay? Right? Then you're out that money. So that's not good. And I don't want that to happen to you. So definitely be sure that you use their credit card and not yours. They don't have to give you the credit card number, right? You can just tell them, hey, look, you log into your AdWords account. Here's the login. I set it up for you. What I need you to do next is go click the little gear in the top, go to billing, and put your credit card number in there or whatever your payment source is, right? That way they feel protected and you are good to go as well. But definitely don't use their credit card. Do use their credit card. Don't use yours, because if they do decide, hey, well, I'm not happy with what happened, then you're out the money and you end up losing, right? And that's bad, bad, bad. Now, the way you're going to add these different accounts into the My Client Center is by getting their account number and requesting access. And I'll talk about this in a second, but it took me a little while to figure this one out. I was banging my head against the wall with a client. They were like, hey, I sent you an invitation to help manage my AdWords account. And that came to my main email that I use, right? So I clicked on it and the link takes you to AdWords. And what happens is it'll say you can't have more than one AdWords account associated with this email. And I was like, well, why not? It's a My Client Center email. That doesn't make sense. Well, the right way to do it is to have them, or basically set up their AdWords accounts. They either set it up or you set it up, right? But set it up under their email, an email that they have. Then what happens is you get that account number, and it's a little 8-digit number, I believe, is the account number. And they give you that number. And then in your My Client Center, there's a little red button that says Add Account. It's just like the Add New Campaign button, but it says Add Account. You just click that and you just put their number in there and click Submit. And then what's going to happen is they will get a notification via email saying, hey, Justin is requesting access to your account. And then from there, they click Accept, and then it shows up in your My Client Center. And I actually just had to do that today, right? So something that you should keep in mind there. Now I want to talk a little bit about pricing the service, because this is where I definitely got burned in the beginning. And once again, want to make sure, this is a lot about learning from my mistakes, right? A lot of what you do to actually set these ads up is pretty much the same, no matter what you're doing, right? It's the same fundamental principles. You set up the ad the exact same way. There are a couple minor things which we'll cover. But a lot of what we'll be talking about today is, learning from my mistakes and specifics when it comes to applying these to other businesses. So I want to point out that no matter how little your client's ad budget is, you are still going to have to put in the same amount of work, right? The reason being is no matter what, you're going to have to get the AdWords account set up. You're going to have to optimize their YouTube channel. You're going to have to optimize some of their videos. You're going to have to link the AdWords account, right? So there's always that setup time that you've got to deal with. So we've got that setup that you have to do. So no matter how little your client's ad budget is, like I said, you're still going to have to put in the exact same amount of work. So keep that in mind before you come in with a proposal saying, like for instance, my very first client was like a sushi restaurant, right? And they said, okay, well, we have a $500 a month ad budget, and that includes what we want to pay you. And I was like, well, okay, that sounds okay. I could probably make a couple $100 off this. That sounds great. And it was my first client, so I was more than happy to do this. My first AdWords for video client, if you will. I was like, totally, that sounds great. Let's go ahead and spend whatever, $350 on your ads, and I'll take $150. Big mistake, right? Which brings me to my next point. There should be a minimum of a $500 setup fee, because that's where most of the work comes in, right? If I was just getting a couple $100 a month to manage these accounts, sure, no problem there, right? That wouldn't be a big issue. But I wasn't, right? I got like $150 to do everything. Right. And it's one thing if all you have to do is manage it, maybe it's a few $100s ongoing monthly to manage it. That's totally cool. But make sure you charge a setup fee, because that setup fee is going to ensure that you get paid for your hourly time that you put into getting everything set up, linked, right? You got to link the site to the YouTube channel, all the stuff that we talk about inside of AdWords or Video Ads Crash Course. All that needs to happen, right? You still got to put calls to action on their videos. You're probably going to have to help them script a video even. So all of that should be taken into account, which is why I charge a minimum of a $500 setup fee. And I'm going to be straight up. My setup fee is actually $3,000. It is not $500. Some businesses cannot afford that, but, and in that case, I'll drop it a little bit if I really want to work with them. But for the most part, I charge $3,000 setup fee, because it really takes almost not a whole month, but it takes a couple weeks to get everything up and going between the calls between clients, between you and the client, figuring out what their funnel looks like, helping them, kind of coaching them, if you will, on what they need to do to help you keep things going along. You're going to have to probably get in contact with their web developer to get everything linked up. And it just, these things kind of add up when you're doing this for somebody else. So a minimum of a $500 setup fee. And then we'll talk about how to charge in a minute here as well. Now, monthly recurring charges based on a percentage of ad spend is one way you can do this. Now, what I usually do if I'm going to do a monthly recurring charge, so you could be like, all right, so I'm going to manage your AdWords account, but you're going to give me whatever, 15% of the ad spend is what you're going to pay me. So if they spend $1,000, you make, $150, right? On their $1,000 ad spend, which is, not terrible if you're just managing it, as long as you have the setup fee, keep that in mind. But not terrible there. That's pretty good. You could do that. But if they have like what I like to do is say it's a minimum of, whatever, 500 a month or whatever. Maybe you go in a little lower. I take on a little bit higher end clients now, but when I started, I would say, it's a minimum of, $200 a month for my management fee, or, so it's either 200 a month or whatever, 15%, 10% of ad spend, whatever is greater. So is that making sense to everybody how that monthly recurring charge kind of works? I just want to make sure that I worded that correctly. Cool. Perfect. All right. Yeah. So, with a minimum, and that's what I do. I go, hey, it's a minimum of this or 15% of your ad spend, whichever is greater I get. So, that seems to protect you and keeping the client happy as well. Then you can also do just a flat out monthly fee. That's another option, that is what I prefer to do because, like I said, regardless of what their ad spend is, you're going to be doing the same amount of work. You still have to set up all the ads, blah, 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 like do everything. So a flat out monthly fee usually works. But the monthly recurring is kind of the same thing. If you say, hey, my flat out monthly fee is, whatever, $300 a month. But if you exceed X number of dollars in ad spend, then I charge this percentage. And that usually works pretty well there. Now, one thing I want to talk about as well is upsells, because these are very, very important, right? I cannot tell you how many times I've actually, in the past, my upsell was, hey, I'm going to give you, basically, I'll get you traffic to your video, right? So I used to sell videos to clients, and my upsell was, all right, well, do you want anybody to see that traffic, or do you want anybody to see that video? Because, if not, if you do, I can do YouTube ads for you, right? And they're like, oh, really? That sounds great. So, let's see. So Rogerio's asking, that's a good question, actually. Before we get into upsells, talk about that. For the flat fee pricing, do you limit the amount of work, X number of campaigns, X number of video ads? And we'll actually talk about that when we pull up the agreement. But yeah, usually we're like, all right, it's going to be this many campaigns with this many ads. So yes, that is a great question. And I 100% do that. Because, if you're like, all right, my flat fee's $500 and they're like, okay, cool. Well, we have this product we want promoted in this one and this one and this one and this one. You're like, whoa, that's not what I signed up for. And you end up, either like losing a client or whatever. So I like to say it's this much for this many campaigns for sure. I should have mentioned that. That's a great question, Rogerio. Thank you for asking that. Okay, so upsells, right? Obviously there is video scripting and creation. So you sell somebody on this, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. I want that. But they're going to say, well, I don't have a video though. So you're like, okay, well, I can script a video and I can even make you a video, but it's going to cost, whatever. It's cost extra. That's not included, right? So I do not include video creation and scripting in this, but it's a perfect upsell because they have to have a video. Landing page creation. I cannot tell you how many businesses I've worked with that are like, nah, we don't have we just want to promote our business. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do though? And they're like, well, we want, more people to come in. I'm like, well, how do you want to do that? And they're like, well, I don't know. We just want to run ads and get more people in the door. So then comes the whole landing page creation where it was like, okay, and one thing that I do for that, I kind of explained to them, look, a good way to get people to spend money with you is to offer some sort of discount based on email marketing, right? Based on a squeeze page. So we'll set up a landing page or a squeeze page. And from there, they go into an email list, right? And that email list auto sends out, and this is usually what I do with these clients. I try and help them build an email list because it's great, right? And they're like, oh, wow, an email list. I can mail them. That's great. There's a huge return on investment when it comes to email marketing as well. So it's one of the easiest ways that you can get results for the clients too. So I'll help them set up a squeeze page, and then I'll help them manage their email marketing or their lead generation, right? Be like, hey, you let me know what your fees or what your specials are for the month. I'll go ahead and email out the list for you, and you can do that as well. That works extremely well. There's also video SEO. That's kind of a self-explanatory one. Like, hey, you want traffic, and we can do that, but we can also get you long-term traffic for free with some video SEO services. If you're a video SEO person. Then there's also funnel design, right? So the funnel design, that's basically mapping out a whole funnel for them. And that's a little more advanced, but that's something that I like to do with these clients that I work with. I basically say, all right, well, we're going to collect the email lead, but then what other products do you have and how are we going to market those? So we really map out a whole marketing plan, because ultimately these video ads are just a source of traffic. And I want you to keep that in mind. If you don't have, or if they don't have an offer or some type of end goal in mind, like what they want, it's not really going to work. So I like to just make sure that, they have a funnel that's working. Check it out. And that could be just like an email to a, some kind of offer page with a series of emails. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do that. But funnel design is an upsell as well. Let's see. Is the landing page creation and services I use to do that covered in the training? It's basically module number 9 of Video Ads Crash Course, where I talk about compliance, I use lead pages and things like that for them. Well, so I basically will, I mean, it's pretty easy to create a landing page. We just kind of sit down and like, all right, what do we want to offer? Cool. I jump into lead pages or whatever it may be and create a quick landing page for them. Show it to them, and they're like, okay, that looks great, thanks. And they think you built them a nice fancy website, but really you just used a drag and drop landing page creator. And that's one of my favorite upsells, like I said, because you kind of have to have a landing page with this, unless they're just trying to build brand awareness, which does work as well. And I'll kind of talk about that too. All right, sorry, I got some water real quick. Okay. Cool. So funnel design, and there's a number of other upsells as well. Website design, anything you can think of related to marketing is a great upsell, right? I'll talk about typical fees for sure. So like video scripting and creation, it depends on what kind of video. Like I have camera equipment and everything, so if I had to bring my, me and Nikki had to go out to to shoot a video for them where we bring all our camera equipment, our lights, our microphones. I mean, I would charge probably $1,000 for that video scripting and creation, just for like a 1 day kind of thing where we go out and help them out, right? Because that's us taking our time out. You might even have to hire a camera crew sometimes, and that's going to be a lot more. I would just mark that up, right? If you can't do that yourselves. Maybe you need to hire a camera crew, and you can hire somebody off Craigslist as well. Hire them for the day, and then just maybe like double their price or something. Even like just add a percentage that you get. Tell your client, hey, it costs this much, and I'm gonna bring my team out. And then you go out with this person and you shoot the video, right? So that could be the scripting and creation. Landing page creation, usually a couple $100 for the page, because it is just, I do use lead pages. And Andre's asking, what URL do I hook the lander up to their website, basically. It's a landing page on their website. Most of these businesses should have websites. If they don't, you should try and sell them a website, right? And you can even go find somebody to make it for you if you don't know how to make websites, and then just mark up the price, just outsource it, right? But I usually put the landing page on their website. So landing page creation, I usually charge a couple $100 for, because it doesn't take me long. It takes me a couple hours. And makes you look good if you charge a little less for that. But you can charge up to $1,000 for that. I mean, if there's copywriting involved and it's an extensive landing page, definitely charge more. Email marketing and lead generation, I mean, you got to think there's the whole setup fee there, because you're going to be setting up an autoresponder or some email service provider for them. There's the setup fee there. So I mean, email marketing, couple $100 a month to kind of manage all of that. Video SEO, I don't really do that anymore. But that you could charge, I don't know, a couple $100 or so a month to keep their video ranked or something like that. But, like I said, I don't do that too often anymore. Funnel design, that's more expensive. Funnel design is usually, I don't know, $1,500 or so, just to kind of help them map everything out. And then they have to do that as well. They have to help kind of do that. So that's more of a consulting kind of gig right there, right? How do you place the landing page on their website? It depends on that. That's like web design kind of stuff. You can usually get the HTML. It depends what their website, how their website is set up. That's going to vary from client to client. So I can't really answer that. That is a great question also, Rogerio. Do I usually sell the upsells on a product by product basis or as a premium package? If you can package these things together, it's going to look much better. You're going to look more professional, and that's a great thing to do. Yeah, if you can package them, totally do that. And I do. I say, hey, and a lot of times I'll be like, look, if you sign a 3-month contract, I will waive the first month's fee, and you'll just pay the setup fee. And that's how I get them in on that $2,000 or $3,000 setup fee also. Do I write their email sequence? It depends, but in the email marketing, yeah, for sure. We help them do that. Obviously, we want them to write it in their own voice or like in their own style. I don't want to use mine, but I help them do all of that for sure. Why don't I do video SEO anymore? I don't do much client work. So I just don't. I focus on paid traffic and A lot of what I do is selling TubeSift, and that it makes more sense for me to sell my software and my training courses and all of that, and do consulting because, quite honestly, because I make more not doing the other stuff. I had to prioritize what I was doing in my business. I kind of sat down. I was like, all right, here are my main goals, and here's what I want to go forward with. And I kind of had to basically say, look, if something doesn't line up with these big goals, then I'm not going to do it. So that was just kind of something I had to cut out. I just don't. Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about scripting the video ad for these local businesses, right? So first, you want to think about what is the main goal of the ad? Is it just to build awareness for their business? Is it to collect emails? Are they trying to get more people in the door? Are they advertising a sale? Are they trying to sell more cars? What is the main goal? That's going to be what you need to start off with. And you really just kind of think about what they're trying to accomplish with this and work backwards from there. How am I going to inform my audience or their audience of what's going on and all of that? And it also, you do need to take into consideration what type of ad is this? Is this a video discovery ad, or is this an in-stream ad, right? So you're going to script those slightly differently as well. Is there a landing page? And that's a good question. How do you measure awareness or building awareness for the local business? Well, based on views, really. You can basically, inside of the AdWords dashboard, in the reporting module that we had kind of talked about, in the actual training itself, we talk about the different metrics, and you can see how long people are watching the video for, but also just views. You're like, hey, look, we got 10,000 eyeballs on your video. So 10,000 people watched it. And also you got this many impressions of people that saw it as well. So that's kind of how you measure just the awareness. In a lot of businesses, those honestly are the best clients to take on. I'm not going to lie. If you don't have to do anything besides set up an ad and get them views, you have a home run client right there. They're just like, all right, I just want more people to see my ad. And sometimes you'll come across clients that want that. They're just like, all right, I just want views. How much is it going to cost me to get views? It's like a television commercial, right? People are going to be more aware of my business. You're like, yeah, totally. And you're also going to get a ton of impressions. Those are the home run clients because they're going to be happy. They're going to be really happy because you're going to get them views, right? All right, cool. Let's see. Another thing to take in mind to keep in mind is there a landing page? If there is, you need to have a clear call to action somewhere in your script, preferably towards the beginning, right? You're going to need to say, hey, here's we're so-and-so local sushi restaurant, and we have a cool lunch special, and we're also giving you 10% off your first visit in. All you have to do is click this link and enter your email on the page you land on, right? So just kind of let them know, hey, there's a landing page. You need to click on this and go, right? Is the business local, right? If it is local, you're going to want to mention that it's local. Be like, hey, we're blah, 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 and we're here in Denver, Colorado, just like you, or something like that. Or like, hey, are you a Denver local? Well, you need to come check out the Denver Locals Farmer Market, or, just a stupid example there, but is the business local? And also, what do they offer, right? And you just kind of want to do a little bit of research to figure out what their target market is. Talk to them about it. Ask them, who's your ideal client? Who are the people that come into your business now? What are they like? Mostly guys, mostly girls. What is it? Age groups. What kind of things do they like? And that'll help you script a video that's going to convert really well for them just by kind of doing your research there. All right. Now I'm going to pull up a little screen about reporting just because it's the last slide that I have, and then we'll jump on over to YouTube and to AdWords, and also pull up I'll pull up the proposal next, and then or the agreement, and then we'll talk about setting the actual ad up and all of that good stuff too. So let's see here. All right. So this is an actual report I sent back to a client. Obviously, it looked much prettier than this, but it had their logos and my logos and stuff on it. So I just wanted to pull the text here. So here is basically what we did, right? So the first thing that I highlighted for them was ad spend, right? So I'm like, okay, we spent $2,196, right? They wanted to spend like $2,200. So we nailed it there. Then first thing I point out is the number of impressions, right? Because that is that's a big number, right? So we got them 7.3 million impressions. So I said, hey, 7.3 million people were shown this ad and had a chance to watch or click to watch or continue watching the in-stream ads. And then I always just kind of let them know, look, those were great because you had 7.3 million eyeballs on your video. And people are like, wow, that's awesome, right? So that's huge for them. Then I tell them, here's your average cost per view. So your average cost per view, it leveled off at 8 cents per view is what we paid for these. It was very targeted though, right? Then I'll tell them total views. So you got total views of 27,000 views. Then earned views. Earned views are a huge one. And this basically this particular client, they were trying to build up their YouTube channel a little bit more and get more exposure to their other videos as well. So I told them, hey, look, we got you 2,700 earned views. And I said, here's what an earned view is. Well, it occurs when somebody watches your paid ad and returns to watch another video on your channel within 7 days. Now, they were very, very excited about this, right? Then I tell them, here's how many subscribers you got. You earned from these specific ads, you earned 416 subscribers in the past 30 days, which they weren't really trying to build up their subscribers. They were more trying to, just spread the word and get people to order their book, right? This was a book launch that they were doing. Then I say, all right, here's what happened. So we put a CTA overlay, right? So we set up an annotation that said, read the first chapter, where the user was taken to the first chapter of the PDF that is on the pre-order page. And I said, all right, that call to action overlay resulted in 51 clicks from video 1. And obviously I changed these a little bit to protect the client. It was worded a bit better. I explained things a little bit more, but I'm just saying video 1 and 3 here or whatever. So we got 51 from video 1, 13 clicks from video 3. The end result was 64 people clicked on the first chapter. And we actually they got me that chapter like 2.5 weeks for 2 weeks at the end of the campaign. So we didn't really have a chance to kind of dial that one in, but I had to let them know, here's what happened, because that was part of the campaign, right? And then I just said, hey, a notes on clicks. YouTube Analytics is telling me that data for the click-through range is not correctly tracked because there was an issue, right? There was an issue. So that data is a bit off because their tracking was off. Recently, they have upgraded their platform and the conversion tracking works a lot better now. So you could track things much better. Just make sure to check out the conversion tracking module there, right? All right. So, and then I said, hey, overall, the campaign got a lot of new eyes on the videos and based on the number of earned views compared to the total views we're looking at. So what you want to do here in this summary, right, is figure out what's the good, what's the best part. So, right, the best part, well, we got you 7.3 million impressions. That's killer. And we also got you 2,700 earned views. So that's great also, right? Those are views they didn't have to pay for. So I just said overall, total views versus earned views were about 10% of the viewers that you got were engaged enough to keep watching the videos. And then I said, all right, and here were your engagement reports, right? So 25% of people watched, 25% of people watched, 22% watched 25% of the video, 14% watched 50%, and basically 8% of the people watched 100% of your videos, right? And just kind of, basically that's that, right? So I kind of did that there. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the to AdWords and everything. I want to kind of talk about how all this works. Actually, let me pull up the proposal first. Let me bear with me for 1 second here. And there's a question here. Do you include the charge for the required software in your fees, or do you ask the client to sign up for their own account? So I usually, if they need like lead page, if it's just one page, I'll usually, so it depends, I guess. If they're hosting their own emails or their own email service provider or whatever, if they do it themselves, definitely they're gonna pay for that, right? And I just say, hey, you need to sign up for it. Or or whatever, it's included kind of thing. But sometimes I'll host their email account or their email marketing accounts inside of my autoresponder or my email service provider. And in that case, I don't need a new lead pages because mine's already integrated, right? So it just kind of depends there. Let's see. Let's see. And then, yeah, the coaching session. Yeah, I'm actually going to be sending out a new schedule for the coaching calls. I was out of town all last week, so I had that blocked off. I was traveling. I would not have been able to give people the right amount of time that they needed, or attention, right? So I will be, I'll be sending out some info, shortly after that, or after this call, right? With a new updated schedule, right? Cool. Sweet. Can everybody see? Yeah, and those first round of coaching calls filled up extremely quickly, within like a day. Let's see. Can everybody see my video advertising management proposal right here? Cool. Do I always target desktop devices over mobile? Not always. No. If, like for some local businesses, I do mobile because most people are on their mobile devices, in the area. I like to split test, see what's working, what's not. But for my stuff, yeah, I only target desktop because, for my personal business, I found that converts better. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the proposal here. So this is the proposal. This ends up turning into the contract as well. So I'll send this out. Obviously, swap out my logo. It does have my logo on it, but you're going to want to put your own, put your company name up here, and then your address. It's just simple letterhead, right? And I say, all right, it's video management proposal, and here's the goal. So we set up a goal first. I always tell them what the goal is. So we'll say, hey, we're going to use AdWords for video, which is YouTube ads, to drive traffic for specific goals or outcomes. And obviously we want to, this is kind of like a fill in the blank thing. It's customizable for each client, right? So we say our goal is to use AdWords for video to drive traffic to your whatever web page, which will ultimately lead more people to your business or whatever it may be, right? So just kind of summarize. And then we say, hey, we've identified the top 3 goals of more views, more subscribers, and more sales, right? Or whatever your top 3 goals are, like, email opt-ins, people visiting your restaurant, and, exposure or something. Right. So then we say, all right, here's the strategy. We're going to break it down. So obviously there's YouTube channel optimization. That's part of it. And this kind of pre-frames that setup fee, right here. So this is huge right here. And so what happens is we say, hey, in order to get the most out of the increased traffic that'll be coming to your YouTube channel, there's a typo in there. It's important the channel is fully optimized. This includes linking the channel to your website, adding annotations to key videos that link back to your website or particular product the video showcases, and creating playlists. So that kind of frames the whole setup, right? Video advertising and say, hey, in order to drive traffic back to specific pages, we need AdWords for video. We're going to use, I always discuss with them what their goals are before I send this out, obviously. Otherwise, I don't know how to fill this out. But as discussed earlier, we'll use in-stream and video discovery. Fixing this right now. Ads for this process. Each video advertisement will need to be crafted specifically for the landing page associated with it. We will consult your team on the proper way to script these ads to ensure we get good click-through rates. So right there, I'm clearly saying I don't make the video for you. That is not included. You have to make it. If you want me to, that's an upsell, right? Then conversion consulting. So help us ensure your success. We provide weekly feedback and consulting to improve your campaign. We need to place tracking pixels on thank you pages for your promoted offer. So that lets them know, hey, we're going to need to place some pixels. There's going to be a little bit of extra work. Then we break down the plan. So we talk a little bit about the ad copy, how it's tested by running 2 ads for keywords being searched. We test a number of areas like the offers, your calls to action, your headline, emotional content versus factual, blah, blah, blah. We've got a little example for keywords here. So like, here's your main keyword, here's your description, blah, blah, blah. Should this proposal be approved, we'll create more granular ad copy after we learn additional details about your service, blah, 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 right? Now, keywords. So we'll focus on creating a detailed keyword list, bringing relevant traffic to your site. This, basically talk a little bit about keywords, how many keywords we're going to target, all that good stuff. Then we talk about placements, and this is where kind of TubeSift comes in, because I say, hey, this is a great way to target people. We'll do placements. And then we talk a little bit about mobile here, and then some remarketing. So we just talk about what our overall plan of action is here, and what targeting groups we're going to be using, how it's all going to work. Optional services, right? Upsells. So, and there's always a replay, and I will always be putting it in the members area. And a couple of people were asking, how do we get access to the replay if we've upgraded? Should have got an email, like I mentioned a little earlier, that will let you upgrade. If you haven't, send your receipt to support@justinsardi.com, and we'll get you manually upgraded. Okay, so on-site video creation is extra, right? Video ad creation is extra. Channel optimization is extra. If they need other channels like Google, Yahoo, I can't even talk, Yahoo or Bing, right? And here's what we need for completion, right? So these are the things that we need before we can actually get started. We're going to need access to your YouTube channel, your website, your keywords, what competitors do you have, access to your AdWords account, and what do you want to spend? So here's the fees. Obviously, change these. This is what we were charging for quite a while here. So the investment required to implement this is a setup fee of $3,000, right, for one product campaign, or $5,000 for two. Monthly management fee of $3,000 for up to $15,000 in ad spend, or $5,000 for up to $30,000 in ad spend. And this was for some of my higher end clients. So don't be scared of those numbers. You can lower them. Like I said, this is just the one that I was using, so it's whatever, right? Then I go ahead and point out a minimum commitment of 90 days is required. You can cancel the agreement with 30 days notice. Our terms and conditions in relation to blah, 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 as shown at the end of this document. And then there's just a place where they can sign, put their card or check so they can just pay. Here we go. This kind of stuff, and then some terms and conditions here about the payment, refunds, all that kind of stuff as well. So, and right here, payment for ad spend. You're responsible for paying your ad spend directly to the provider. We are not responsible for non-running of ad campaigns as a result of payment issues on your account. Because I had somebody that wanted a refund in the past. We had to add that because somebody wanted a refund because their card was not working, right? Their credit card expired or whatever, and their ads stopped running, right? But we already did all the work and kept telling them, hey, your ads aren't running, and they never fixed it. And they were like, well, we want a refund because nothing was running. So, that's what we had to put in there, right? And then, all this stuff, hey, all this good stuff here. So definitely that's like my whole proposal. That becomes the contract really. And we are good to go from there. Does that make sense for everybody? And I have no idea if Bing has their own version of YouTube. I don't think so. And I don't know that they have a video website. Who knows? Okay. Now let me go ahead and pull up AdWords. Oh, give me 1 second here. Pause my screen, make sure I pulled up the right thing. Let's see. Let me actually find a My Client Center too. Real quick. I can find images real quick, and let me find what it kind of looks like here. I'll just kind of show everybody what that looks like. Oops. All right, can everybody see my screen now? Do you think that describing the services in the proposal in so much detail might actually hurt sales and conversions? No, I think it makes us look like we know what we're doing. I mean, most of these people, if I'm going to send them a proposal, they're already sold. They've already heard everything I'm going to do. I've told them, here's what we're doing, all that good stuff. And, these are awful images. Yeah, I basically told them, here's what we're doing, all that kind of stuff. Oh, here we go. Perfect. So yeah, they already know what my fees are. They already know what we're going to do. And we've already really mapped it out. It's just kind of writing it down on paper. So I don't think that it really hurts conversions at all. Okay, so if you just Google My Client Center, you can see about manager accounts. Here's what it is. This is allows you to manage all your AdWords accounts from one single dashboard, and you could save time with cross-account campaign management, reporting, access control, and consolidated billing. This is what it's going to look like over here. Basically, it's same AdWords account, right? But it's just what happens is when you're in AdWords right here, jump to account shows up and there's a drop down. I'm not going to click that because that'll show all my client accounts in there. But you click that, it drops down and you see everybody's accounts in there. And you could easily switch from account to account. Right. And you could basically just see, you can manage all our campaigns from a single view, blah, blah, blah. You have one login with multiple accounts. No need to ask for a password, just ask for permission. And this is kind of a little bit about linking your AdWords account to your manager account. Basically an individual AdWords account can be linked to no more than 5 manager accounts, but here's kind of how it all works, right? So, and you can see how to invite users right here. We kind of talked about that. You click the gear, account settings, and account access. So it's pretty simple. That's basically what you do there as well. Let's see. Yeah, the proposal is definitely a follow-up after a sales meeting or a call. I don't send proposals just to random people. It doesn't make sense. It's not worth my time. So I send proposals to people once they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Send me a proposal and let's get started. Do you have to create a separate AdWords account from your current one? Yes, you do. My Client Center is its own account. And it's not actually an AdWords account either. But you can put your current account in your My Client Center, which is cool. So that's what I do. I have like this is one of my accounts in here. And it's in My Client Center. So I can easily switch between mine and client accounts, right? Because I still work in mine, right? Let's see. Please zoom in is what a couple people are saying. Yeah, 1 second here. How can you create confidence with clients without showing any previous results? You can, here you go, zoom in a little bit here. I mean, this is stuff that obviously you're not going to read on my screen. You should just look it up. This is just the whole creating an AdWords manager account. So if you just Google My Client Center, remember, you just Google that. It'll tell you all about it right here. You could sign up by clicking sign up for free, or you can just scroll down and you will see these links in here that, learning and support at the bottom, manager accounts help center. This will tell you everything you need to know about these. So yeah. But as far as creating confidence without showing results, land a cheaper client at first and just be like, hey, look, I'm willing to, give you a reduced fee or just run some ads for yourself. Just get some views to some of your videos. And you can be like, look, I can get views for a couple pennies, right? Or use some of these. Actually, if you come over to YouTube, this is something that's it's kind of cool. If you come down here and go to advertise in the footer, they have a list of case studies up here at the top. Right here, you can click on case studies and you could share some of these. Like, yeah, you might not have results, but you know how to do this, right? And you can see, here's how all of these guys or girls or whatever, all these people were using these particular ads to build other businesses, right? So you can see, here's what's going on, right? So you can kind of use some other people's case studies. You can pause the screen. That's weird. Oops. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for that, everybody. Sorry. Basically, this is the manager accounts, right? That's why nobody could see because I wasn't zoomed in. I was like, what? I don't understand. It's big. So right here, you just you Google My Client Center, right? And the top thing that shows up is My Client Center. You click on that. And right here, all your AdWords accounts in one place. Sign up for free. You click that to sign up for the My Client Center. And you can see manager accounts. And you can click on, they've got all these links like save time with a single login. Here's how you get permission. If you skip all these links, you just come all the way to the bottom. You can see manager accounts help center in the bottom, like right under learning and support. You can click on that and it will take you to everything you need to know about manager accounts and navigating those. Okay, cool. Yep. Sorry about that. Thanks for pointing that out, everybody. For local, do you always optimize for views instead of conversions, and do you use tracking pixels? I always use tracking pixels on every single campaign I set up. I won't set one up without it anymore. Unless it's just for, hey, we want views and that's it, but always use tracking pixels and always optimize for conversions unless all they want is views. But ultimately, like if they're, really they're going to want, they're going to want you to get them conversions, right? They don't want to run traffic to nothing. It just doesn't make sense, right? Cool. All right. So, and so let me actually go back real quick. So if we go to YouTube, just to kind of point this out, go to YouTube, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Oops. There we go. Click advertise in the footer. It's going to take us here to this advertise page, and you can click on case studies right up in the top, right here. And you can see how these people use video ads, how these people did. And they have a lot of other case studies. You can look up other case studies and all that stuff. Tracking pixels, those are all covered in the training. So go through the AdWords for Video Crash Course or Video Ads Crash Course 3.0, and that is all covered in the training. So it's a way to track what's happening and how well your ads are performing, though. You should always have tracking pixels before you set up an ad. And we kind of talked about that. That's why that module was called pre-campaign setup, right? Cool. Can you track calls? Yes, you can. One of the conversion tracking pixels is actually, so if you go to tools and conversions, one of them, you can actually track calls. So you just add a conversion, right? And you could see phone calls, track calls by using a Google forwarding number. So you could do that for sure. So you would just set it up this way and kind of go through that whole process. And that actually works really well for local businesses as far as tracking conversions goes. Yeah, great question, Herman. Okay, so let's talk about setting up a campaign real quick. Oops. Dun, dun, dun. So obviously you're going to need a video for these people. So let's go to youtube.com and let's just scoop a video real quick. It's whatever video. Okay, here's a cool little top hat. Let's copy that. Copy link. All right, so let's say that is our client's video that we want to use. So let's go ahead and set up a campaign for them. Let's actually delete this one. That was from, I was actually on on local television yesterday. It was pretty cool. And I set up a demo campaign for them, showing them how to do that. So, and I'll actually send that out, edit. There we go. I'll actually send that out to everybody, the recording of that, because it was pretty cool. We talked about, a lot about this. It was a lot about local businesses and how to use this for local businesses. It's pretty cool. So I'll be sure to send that out to everybody. So let's go ahead and just click this ad campaign. This is how you set up campaigns for these businesses. Go to video campaign, right? And a lot of the setup is done on this first page, right? A lot of times, if it's maybe they're like a car dealership or something, or maybe it's just somebody whose market is, or some business whose market is everywhere, right? Or not everywhere, but all of Denver or something like that, then it makes your campaign setup extremely easy. So we're just going to name this whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll keep it at campaign 5 for your reference, right? Standard setup. We'll go ahead and do an in-stream or video discovery ad. These bumper ads are new. You're charged CPM with these, I believe. I haven't actually set these up because it's mostly, these bumper ads would actually work really well for a local business where they're like, hey, we're so-and-so sushi or whatever. We're XYZ car dealership. Go ahead and come in. We're doing a hail sale. Boom. Right? So those bumper ads work, but they're only 6 seconds, right? So keep that in mind. In-stream and video discovery is what I usually use, though, because this bumper ad is brand new. So we're going to set our budget to whatever they want. Maybe they want $25 a day. Sure. Networks, I go YouTube search, YouTube videos. Then we get into locations. So I just go, let me choose here, right? And we click this advanced search. Now, there's a couple options here. You can do radius targeting, right? And so maybe their address is 700 Kalamath Street in Denver. Do a quick search for that. Boom, here it is, right? Maybe that's their physical address of their business and they want to reach people within a 20-mile radius, or maybe they want to reach people within a 10-mile radius, right? And you can actually do another search. It'll narrow in. You can even target down to 1-mile radius. So you can target people within a 1-mile radius of a specific address, right? So that is pretty cool right there. Bumper ads are brand new. They're basically non-skippable in-stream ads that allow you to, non-skippable in-stream ads that are only 6 seconds long, and you don't pay per view on those. You pay for impressions on those. So that's a brand new type of ad. It just came out. I honestly have not used it yet. I think they added it like last week. I've had no use for it. But it'd be good for branding really, but I do more direct response kind of things. So yeah, we got radius targeting here. We can target people within a 1-mile radius or whatever, however many miles radius of the business itself, which is pretty cool. You can actually, look around here too. We could do bulk locations. So you can say, all right, I want to target people in this zip code. I don't know if that is a zip code, but maybe not. Oh yeah, I guess it is. So you could say, all right, we're going to target people there, and you can kind of zoom out and see. I don't know where that zip code is. I don't think it's actually a zip code. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so it's way up here somewhere. So yeah, you could target like entire zip codes, right? That works really well for these businesses. Or you can just target cities, right? So you could be like Denver. And you could just do a search there, and we can add that too. And we can then zoom out, and you can see, all right, we're going to be targeting all of Denver and whatever zip code this is up here. That's crazy. I did not know that Denver went all the way to the airport. That's just kind of stupid. All right. So yeah, we could target that way. You could target by zip codes. You could search. But usually most of the targeting that you're going to be doing for these local businesses is just targeting within their area, right? Pretty easy. It kind of takes the guesswork out of targeting. So there we go. We'll target people in Denver. We'll go ahead and click done, and wherever this zip code is, sure. Then you can actually exclude specific spots. So maybe you want to target Denver, but not this specific zip code or whatever. You can do that too. Languages, self-explanatory, English, right? Devices, once again, that's the same thing, mobile, tablet, computer. We talked about all of that in the training. So that is kind of dependent on if their landing pages or, whatever's going on with their landing pages, what type of people they're targeting, right? Schedule, this is huge for these businesses, right? You can start and end date, but the ad scheduling. So let's say, for like a sushi restaurant, well, you want to probably run their ad right before lunch and right before dinner, or in between lunch and dinner. You don't want to run the ad at midnight when nobody can go get sushi, right? It just doesn't make sense. So just kind of think about that with your whole ad scheduling there, and that's what you're going to do. Schedule your ad based on that. So then we'll click save and continue. Then we get into the actual the ad setup, right? So we name it. We'll put our YouTube video here. We choose, do we want to do in-stream or video discovery, right? And we had talked about exactly how to do that all in the training. So let's see. I'm not 100% sure if you could target a latitude and longitude and add a 1-mile radius. I would have probably. I think so. I'm honestly not sure. Well, you might have to put it in and try it. It should probably work. I've never done that. I usually use just their physical address. What if you don't get enough views to a local business in that city or state? That's one of the things that could happen. In that case, you're just like, hey, look, they're very targeted views. And then, yeah. It just kind of depends on how you're setting it up. If you're not getting enough views, open up your targeting, right? And just use the location targeting. Maybe don't layer on interests and things like that. But the video ad format here, that's self-explanatory, in-stream, video discovery, whatever one you want to do, choose that. Choose a good thumbnail, same stuff from the training there. Cool. Yeah, so same kind of stuff. Set this up like you would a normal ad. And then we get into our bidding. Bid your, and right here I do want to point out, look, local areas, if you're geo-targeting like just Denver, it is going to be a little more expensive, right? And that's the other thing. If you're not getting enough views, crank up your bid too. I mean, it's their ad spend, right? So maybe like 25 cents is what we're going to throw in here. And you could see we're going to get 300 to 400 views, and we're going to pay about 8 cents per view. And now they're saying set it to 3 cents. So I don't know. But anyway, there we go. We're going to pay about 8 cents per view. If we set it there, we can drop it down to, get 1,000 extra views for 3 cents. And there we go. So that, but we're not going to spend all our budget, but we are going to get more. So maybe we want to put like a 4-cent bid in here. And that's kind of what I do. I just poke around there. We're going to spend all our ad spend, and we're going to get 2-cent views now for 1 to 2,000 views, right? Can the competition reverse engineer your campaigns easily? No, not really. If I wish you could, because I would go do that with a lot of other people's campaigns. Yeah. I mean, kind of. If you like click on their links and like track it all, sure. But, it's whatever. Popular video bid adjustment, same kind of thing. I usually don't do anything with that. Demographics, this is a really important one with local. What type of people do they want in their business? Choose those and click done. Then interests. Now, this is huge right here, right? So I always try and find the in-market audiences first. So let's say I'm running these ads for a car dealership. So we'll go auto and vehicles, right? Drop that down. Motor vehicles. So maybe it's a used car dealership. Boom. We want to target people that are, interested in the market for a used vehicle. Obviously, I'm going to need to raise. There we go. So we're going to need to raise our bid here because we're getting more restricted. So that's something to kind of play around with. Make sure that you pay attention to this little predicted budget spend, right? Especially with local, right? That's very, very important to make sure, because like you were saying, who asked that? Herman was asking, well, what if we don't get them enough video or views? Well, this is how you figure out, am I going to get them any views? So it might not be a ton of views, but look, that's 1 to 200 very, very targeted views. These are people that are actively shopping for a used vehicle right now that live in Denver, right? So, not a ton of views maybe, but those are super targeted. And we can actually change that to maybe we change it to 25 cents. This might go up a little bit more. There we go. Look, we're going to be paying 10 cents. We're going to get 200 to 300 views. We can kind of increase it, but even 10 cents a view for something that targeted, that's nothing. They pay way more than that to advertise on television. So just kind of keep that in mind. Check this thing out here and see what you can do. If it's not showing what you want it to, play around with it. Up your bid, change some things, right? And boom, there we go. So you can also see any of these other products or services. If your client is in any of these, definitely use these in-market audiences, right? But otherwise, if it's a broad thing where everybody in Denver could use it, don't throw any interest in. You're just going to restrict it, right? So we can click done there. And we can also, target by keyword placement, all these things. But usually what works the best for local is just geo-targeting and interests if you can, right? From there, we're going to click Save Ad Group, and it's going to go up for approval. I'm actually going to delete this real quick because I'm not going to be running that. And we'll go ahead and pull this out here. Where is it? Edit. There we go. Remove. Okay, so that's basically that. So I'm going to go ahead. I saw we had some questions coming in. I'm going to pull the slides back up, and we will go ahead and talk about the questions everybody has. I'll get all those answered, and if we have to jump back over, then we will do so. Let's see. Everybody should be able to see the question slide now. All right, so give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull out this question box so it makes it bigger so I can see it better, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's see. All right, so sorry, this is a long question. I got to read it real quick. So basically, a real estate property realtor, viable video ad campaign situation for this, and what kind of videos might be good for placements. The audience is low income, young couples, or low income senior citizens. I believe you can actually target people who are, so if it's rental, you can actually target people who are in the market for rental properties right now. So that's what I would do. I would use that in-market audience, and I would target people who are actively shopping for rentals right now. And I know that's a category because I've seen it multiple times. So basically, what would happen is you would say, all right, I want to run these ads to people who are, these ages, right? Whatever your ages would be, young couples, right? So maybe young, you would say males and females who are these ages who have a child or something like that. That would automatically make them pretty much have to be a couple, kind of, or close to it, right? And as far as the actual videos, for placements, I probably, in that case, if it's local and everything, I don't think I'd use placements, but you might be able to pull a couple placements of maybe something like, I'd try placements as well, like definitely make a placement group. But I think you're going to get more traction in this case with a more, broad targeting, because placements maybe like how to shop for a rental home or things like that. But it just kind of depends there. So, but I would definitely target people who are interested in the rental properties. Yeah. And that is under in-market audiences. And I think it's real estate is the category. Maybe you might just have to just type in rental when you're searching for those in-market audiences, and that will pop up for you. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Have I worked with auto dealers and how did I pitch them? I personally have not. I have a few students who work with them, and basically what they say is, look, I can get you they just show them these or explain how they're going to target them. Be like, look, we can reach people who are actively shopping for these types of cars, right? And that's kind of how you pitch them. Be like, it's cheap. You're running television commercials anyway. What kind of return are you getting on those? How much are you paying? Well, what if I could get you views for 10 cents, right? And they're people who are actually shopping for what you have to offer. That's essentially the pitch in a nutshell there, Amy. Targeting. What is the best practice? One ad group per targeting method used or multiple targeting methods in one ad group? Always one ad group per targeting method. Unless you want to target people who are, shopping for a car who also, like cats or something like that, right? Then you can kind of overlap them. But usually it's best practice to do one ad group per targeting method. Do you ever recommend sending visitors to a page on their website, or is it better to create a separate landing page? A lot of times the pages on the website, that is the landing page, right? It doesn't have to just be a squeeze page, but you could send traffic to a website where, maybe it's content, how to shop for a used car, like best tips for not getting ripped off on a used car. And there you have a little squeeze page that pops up or something along those lines, that would work pretty well. So yeah, hopefully that kind of makes sense there. What forms of payments do you accept for your services rendered? Usually I take a check. But yeah, you could do recurring billing through PayPal. I have merchant account through Infusionsoft. I used to do that as well. But if you want to send me money, you can send me money however you want, right? So, and then I just invoice them through QuickBooks. I was actually taking QuickBooks payments for a while too as well. Can you just target mobile? Yeah, that's covered in the training. But basically it's the mobile bid adjustments. You can just target mobile, and a good chunk, I'm not sure the exact percentage of views that come from mobile, but it's a lot. Please talk about compliant landing pages. Module number 9 of the training covers all of the compliance things that I would really have to talk about. And it kind of depends on what you're promoting. So I would, as far as that goes, a lot of times you're just going to have to set up a landing page that, that you're pushing traffic to and try, right? So, can a single sales page be compliant? Yes, it can, as long as it's not making any wild claims. Nothing illegal being promoted, all of that. That's no problem. I've definitely ran traffic to single sales pages. I've ran traffic to squeeze pages, a number of different things. You just have to make sure that you're upfront, not trying to rip people off or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, for sure. How do you set up conversion and retargeting and remarketing campaigns for this? Exactly the same way that you set up any other campaign with conversions and retargeting and remarketing. It's identical. Like I mentioned in the beginning, all of this, it's the same. It's just the fundamental principles, and best practices that change. But setting everything up is the exact same. Is there a way to track conversions if you don't have access to their HTML pages? Yeah, you just send them the conversion tracking pixel and say, hey, put this on your website. I mean, it's their website, right? It's a client website, so I don't know why they wouldn't have access to it. Would you recommend a lead capture strategy for a local perfumer who wants to market to tourists? I would more maybe I'm not quite sure what their business, I don't really know what a local perfumer is either. If you could let me know a little more, I could probably help you a bit more, but I'm not quite sure what that is. Yeah, definitely, Dave. Local marketing is quite a bit easier. The targeting is basic, and there is a huge opportunity. You're not missing anything. It's that's how I got my start. It was great. So it works really well. Do I collect the monthly spend for the campaign, or do I run it through our account and charge them management fees? Yeah, like we kind of talked about in the beginning, I never ever, not again at least, I will never ever pay for my clients' ad spend and then charge them later because you might not get paid. So always set up an account in their name for them, or have them set it up, whatever. I'll be like, sign up for it, put your billing details in, and give me the login or something like that. You can definitely do that, but never ever pay for the ads yourself. You could get ripped off. So I don't make my videos myself. Are there ways to get videos without paying someone to shoot them to minimize the cost? I don't think Fiverr or places like this, but maybe ways to legally get ready-made videos or make videos. In Video Ads Crash Course 3.0, there is a specific bonus module that covers using Creative Commons to create videos that are already done for you. So check that bonus module out. It walks you through everything there. Is it a trade-off between geo-targeting and geo-targeting plus in-market audiences? Yeah. So when you start layering up these things, like, all right, we're going to do geo-targeting and we're going to do in-market audiences, you're getting more restricted, right? So instead of showing it to everybody in Denver, you're only showing it to everybody in Denver who is shopping for a used car or is shopping for a new car or whatever whatever they're in the market for. So you're getting more restricted on your targeting because there's less people. So you're going to get less views, right? You're going to pay a little bit more, but those views might convert 10 times better, right? Because it's so targeted. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind there. But yeah, for sure. So if I understand correctly, for local marketing, geo-targeting and interest is the way to go. Campaigns focused on the audience, not the type of videos. Yeah, usually, for sure. Like when I'm doing local marketing, I usually don't rely heavily on placements. You'll get some views, for sure. But keep in mind, it's going to be fewer views, but they're going to be very targeted. Sort of like layering those targeting groups, right? You still use them, but they're not going to be like, they're not going to be super, they're not going to be super scalable is the word I was going for there, but they're going to be very targeted. Okay. So for the perfume person, I would say, a lead capture thing would be good. Like maybe come by, put your email in for a free sample or something along those lines. Some kind of deal might work well, or just exposure, really. Maybe not even a lead capture, or maybe a combination of just, hey, here's what we are. Here's what we have to offer. If you're traveling here, cool. But if you want a discount, enter your email here or something like that, enter your, I got a great one actually. I just brought that to my mind. So if they're tourists that these people are targeting, right? Think about, what are tourists doing? What do tourists want? Well, they probably want to know maybe the best restaurants to eat in town, or like a checklist of the 10 must do things when you're visiting Costa Rica or something like that, right? So you might want to maybe provide value instead and be like, hey, I see you're visiting Costa Rica, and I want to make sure you don't miss out, or hey, this is brought to you by blah blah blah. We make perfumes, and we also are local Costa Rica residents and local business owners, and we've been here forever, and we know what the best things to do here are, and we want to share that with you. So, click here to get the free checklist or something like that, right? Are there some good video creation services which you would recommend? How expensive should a professional 2-minute video ad be? It depends where you are. Camera teams, that's going to be totally a local thing. I don't really know. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you liked that tip. It just kind of popped in my head. I was like, oh man, that'd be a great one. You're providing value. That's a great way to capture tourists and capture tourists. You probably don't want to be capturing tourists. I think that's called kidnapping. But yeah, a great way to capture their information and, kind of do that and provide value as well as make it a fun ad that doesn't seem like an ad, right? It's not like, hey, come in and get perfume or something like that. It's just, it makes sense. It provides value. And especially if the person likes it, they're like, man, we should go visit that person that gave us the checklist or something like that. Right. And then at the bottom of the checklist, be like, by the way, here's what we do. And we're one of the local businesses here. For the rental apartments, CTA is very simple. A link that takes them to a landing page showcasing the apartments with a phone number to call and learn more. Do you have any better ideas? That's a pretty good idea. I mean, that's pretty solid. But one idea that I might have, I wouldn't say it's a better idea, but I'd say that this is an idea to test also, is to set up a squeeze page, right? And just say, hey, we specialize in linking up, people, whoever your audience is. We specialize in matching, affordable rental housing with whatever target market you're targeting, right? And we have all you need to do is fill out, you might use a survey or something, right? So just some kind of survey that says, all right, what's your price range? Where are you looking, right? And then all of that goes over to your realtor person. They get all this data. It's a very qualified lead with all of the information, right? Saying, okay, think of how hard it is to find I don't know how many of you have shopped for a rental house on Craigslist. Here in Denver, it's extremely competitive and it's horrible. I hate it, right? If somebody showed me an ad on YouTube and they knew, all right, you're shopping for rental properties, right? Because Google knows, because I've been searching for Denver rental properties, right? So they know. If I get an ad in front of me saying, tired of searching for Craigslist only to find stinky, dirty houses with tons of competition, no problem. We have a list, or we specialize in linking people up with affordable housing, great housing at affordable prices. And it's stuff you're not going to see on Craigslist. Don't deal, cut the line, don't deal with all the competition, blah, 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 whatever it is. Push them to a survey page where they enter all their information. And then your realtor gets that lead and can follow up with them and match them up with what they're looking for, right? So think value there, because you're definitely providing them with a free service. I mean, it is, because they're not having to pay to get matched up. And if something matches up, your realtor wins, and so does the potential lead, right? So I hope that okay, cool, great idea. Yeah, I hope that helps out. I'm thinking of buying VideoMaker FX or Explaindio. Which do you recommend? I have both. So, I mean, they both kind of do the same thing. It's whatever. It's, I'd buy the cheaper one. If I were you, I'd buy the cheaper one. Whatever's the cheaper one. I know Explaindio just rolled out a brand new version. So that might be a little more up to date. I know how to use, I've personally used Explaindio more. But it's, it's whatever there. They both work well. Cool. All right. Well, I think, cool. Tentative schedule for the 2 remaining webinars. I think the next one, they're not going to be 2 weeks apart. No. We took 1 week off because I was traveling and speaking at some events, and I wanted to, we're going on whatever, hour and a half. I just want to make sure that that like everybody is, um, um, everybody's getting all their questions answered. So that's why we took 1 week off. But next one I think is scheduled for Thursday. Tentatively, I got to double check my schedule, make sure I didn't overlap that. But I think it's Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll email that out with the replay. Do I mix Explaindio and Face Talk video parts? Yeah, for sure. If you can like change things up a little bit, that's great. Just kind of like jump around a little bit. Not jump around on screen like woo, but cut from one scene to another. It's always going to be more engaging if you have multiple camera angles or whatever. Like mix in a little bit of stock footage with some stuff over it and things like that, right? Yeah, both in the same video for sure. To promote your local marketing services to potential clients, what's the best duration? Oh man, let me pull something up real quick. Also, that's a really good question. I totally spaced doing this. Give me 1 second here. Let me share this Google Chrome here. Okay, can everybody see this? Yeah, the next webinar is 1 week out. Okay, cool. So check this out. So when over here in video targeting, I can't believe I forgot to do this. Interests, right? So let's go to whatever. I don't know. This is fine. We'll just add an interest here. Select our ad group. So cool. Okay, so check this out. In market audiences, there's business services, right? People shopping for business services are business owners, right? Makes sense. So check this out. Advertising and marketing services. SEO and SEM services. That's SEO and search engine marketing, which running these types of ads is search engine marketing. These are people looking for advertising services. So you can actually target business owners who are actively shopping for these types of ads. Right? Right? Yeah. So very, very cool here. You can target people like that. Ideal duration, it just depends. Usually, you can maybe just explain a little bit about what you do, a minute or two. I wouldn't go too long there, but something to kind of keep in mind there. Works very, very effectively. I'll give you a few more days notice. GoToWebinar was supposed to send those out, so I apologize for that. It was kind of late notice today. I was just like, well, I don't know. A couple people asked. They said, hey, I never got an email. I was like, well, GoToWebinar should have sent it to you. But yeah, my bad. I will definitely be knowing that. I'll be a little more proactive about that. Right. I did cover scripting on the webinar. There was the whole, we talked a little bit about thinking what the landing page is, what type of ad it is, all of that there. So we kind of talked about that a little bit. But I mean, it's, scripting for the local business is kind of like a television commercial. But if you're going for direct response stuff, then you're going to want to, kind of target them that way, and like make a call out with specific calls to action as well. Let's see here. Okay. Oops. All right. Cool. Well, yeah. I think that wraps up all of the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this recording. And then I'll stick around for another minute or so. If any other questions do come in, I'll get to those. But I'm going to kill this recording real quick. So thanks everybody for coming out. And if you're watching this replay, thanks for watching it. I'll be putting the links for the proposal next to this video as well. So that's it for me. Bye for now.